party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast that's built for two. I am your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I'm joined by my longtime friend Bill Heidrich to play a game of Promethean the Created by White Wolf Publishing. Promethean is an incredibly fascinating game, and one I particularly wanted to explore on this show, because even though it's ostensibly built for a traditional party structure, the kinds of stories it's interested in are so solitary and individually focused, it feels like it's almost better suited to a two-player game. Before we dive in, though, I have two quick things to touch on. I did some playing with sound effects in this episode, and I want your feedback about it. Did you like it? Did it make things sound overproduced? Does it help with the ambiance? Tweet me at partyofonepod and let me know. If you're interested in coming onto the show as a guest, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. Whether you're a game designer, podcaster, tabletop enthusiast, or you've never played a game before, I want you on the show. All that said, let me throw it over to me in the past so he can get started with the game.
Heard you only live once, that's cool I suppose, but you can live forever through the songs you compose, experiences you share, the highs and the lows.
Thanks, future me. This week I'm sitting down with Bill Heidrich. Bill, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing super well. I'm super excited to play. We're playing Promethean the Awakened, the Created?
Yeah, the Created.
Promethean the something or other this week. It's a World of Darkness game. It's got a complicated title with a colon involved. It's going to be a lot of fun. Why don't you tell me and the viewers at home a little bit about your character?
Okay, so I'm playing Siren Promethean. So I'm an ancient, water-dwelling Promethean. Really dark character. He's been around for a long time. Led a cabal of vampires way back in the day. That didn't work out too well. And I've been kind of slinking in the shadows. I met Machiavelli. I met Sun Tzu. I've studied the arts of human manipulation. Caused the 1929 stock market crash when I came to the United States. And I've been kind of slowly growing more and more isolated and paranoid, trying to keep up with the change in humanity as we go along.
Cool. And a little bit about just Prometheans in general is they're beings that were once dead and then brought to life through divine fire. Frankenstein's a good example. Osirans come from the myth of Osiris, the idea that his wife brought him back to life with the power of the gods. So they're and Prometheans are sort of haunted by the sense that they don't belong.
It's a really fun, pleasant game.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of laughs. It's going to be fun for the whole family. They're haunted by this thing called disquiet, which literally the earth that they walk on and every person they speak to is sort of haunted by the sense of fear or unease.
And everything's unnatural.
Yeah, and so their whole life is sort of a quest to become human, essentially. So, we begin our story in the sewers of underneath New York. So why don't you describe your subterranean lair a little bit?
So I gave my character this ability that not a lot of other Prometheans would have to actually breathe underwater. Water is where my character would normally be able to rest, but not many other characters would be able to actually survive underwater. So I made a kind of false door opening that allows me to kind of go through these pipes. Like there's an open sewer somewhere, I can walk through there, and then once it gets deep enough, I can go down and just go a good amount in, and then it comes up in an area, and I have like a nice security door with a camera that I can view inside. And then once inside, it's very Spartan accommodations, some books, some gas lighting, and the laptop with a strong modem, so I don't have to leave. But yeah, very, very low key.
Sure. All right. So your character, what is your character doing on an average night? Say 8:30 p.m. on a random Tuesday.
Reading.
So you're deep in a book. You're getting lost in the magic of reading. When from the distance, in the sewer, you hear the distinct sound of an explosion from a great distance away, and metal plating sort of knocked to the side and clanging up against the wall.
So I'll go to check the security footage, or at least the right outside the door of my lair.
So you look at the security footage, and you see that there is a single male figure in top-to-bottom tactical gear. It has blown out the false door within your sewer layer, sort of coming around the bend. Like he's got tactical gear head to toe. His face is covered, and he comes through the door. He comes through the door crouching, stands up, looks around, takes off his tactical mask to reveal a striking, dark-skinned man, Middle Eastern, maybe Egyptian, thick beard, long, flowing hair. And he kind of looks around, and suddenly you hear this rich, echoing laugh from all the way down the tunnel. Sort of a... moment later, still echoing down the halls, you hear, "Morris! Your friends the rats have betrayed you. The great hunt is at an end, my friend. Face your reckoning once and for all."
Who is this guy?
You can make me a roll using your intelligence and occult.
Okay.
Adding your +1 for your occult specialty to see if you can get an understanding of what this guy this guy is a sort of aura.
All right. So let's see. 3 + 2, so 5d10s. Let me pull up the generator here. Alright, 5d10s, let's roll. And so, I'm looking at the individual rolls, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
8s and above? Alright, so I got 3 successes.
Okay, cool. You are watching you're watching his movements, and you're watching sort of the air, almost the air around him is sort of not quite pulsating, but like there's a certain energy and a certain aura that because of your time spent among vampires, you recognize it as distinctly sort of vampiric. Okay. But beyond that, like you're not sure. Like something strikes you as very familiar about him.
Okay.
But you can't really pinpoint what it is per se.
All right. So I'm clearly not prepared for this. I don't know who this guy is, so I'm going to try and bug out somehow. So I would hope that I had the presence of mind to install a backdoor, but you just gave me the opportunity to create one, and I didn't tell you I had one.
This is true. You had that out.
I had that out. Okay. I'm going to open the door and wait for him to actually come around the bend, because I only saw him through the camera, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open the door, and have whatever fine alcohol that I sup on, and just have the snifter in my hand and appear like I'm ready for him.
Okay. He comes around the bend. He sees you. The two of you lock eyes with each other. He kind of lets out a low chuckle. I can respect a man who would enjoy a last drink before his untimely demise.
So let's see. This fixed stare ability I have, is that mortal or anybody?
Let's look it up. It's on page 130. Promethean must make eye contact with his intended victim. He can paralyze the target, sapping her will to act as long as he maintains eye contact. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about specifically Promethean, so I assume it can work.
So yeah, I'll attempt to do that.
Okay.
Presence 4 plus only the 1 success.
Okay.
And I'll say, surely you thought to bring more than yourself.
Let me see what happens on a tie. I think a tie is considered a success. Or is that considered a failure?
Not sure.
We'll call it a partial success. He stands very still, but his will is not shaken.
Okay.
He looks at you, smiles for a while, and says, "As soon as my body is my own again, it shall take no more than merely than one to end your 1,000-year reign of terror."
Who do you think I am?
I think that you are Morris the Rat, who betrayed his chosen flock and wandered away to hide with the other rats in the sewers of New York rather than embrace your destiny as a god among men.
That's all very touching, but why don't you run off and fight vampires if you want to fight somebody?
Conflict among the clans is entertaining, but the order of the Great Hunt seeks a greater prey. My destiny is here with you in these sewers. They shall tell tales of my victory for generations.
Let's see, could I want to attempt to mess with this guy's mind. Not sure what ability I should use.
I've got your shit.
I guess I just have suggestion, right?
That would probably be the best one to do, yeah.
Or how about this? Could I just do like a straight up, No, I got this. Okay. So I'll do suggestion.
Okay.
Tell him to, swim out to the middle of the Atlantic and fight me there.
Okay. What's the roll for suggestion?
It's versus composure plus Azoth.
So versus my composure.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 1 success.
So, the two of you have locked eyes. You've told him that if you wish to fight, you'll fight in the midst of the Atlantic. He looks at you and begins to move towards the water. Again, his composure hasn't changed, even as his body is sort of moving against his will. Even as he goes towards the water, sort of mock you with, "You send my body to sleep with the fishes, but I am merely a vessel for the order. Another will come, and then another and another, until we have your head on a platter, and we dance amidst your scattered entrails for 1,000 generations." With that, he sort of flops backwards into the water, and his head is still up. He sort of begins, backpedaling, backstroking his way up through the water as he continues just mocking you in the same way, describing all the myriad ways that he and his order will have their vengeance now that they know that not only are you still alive, but that you are so close to their grasp.
Oh god, this sucks. So I think since my lair has been compromised, I'm going to make the process of moving everything of value from there and kind of going on the run.
Okay.
Or at least to some place where I can lay low and think about what I want to do.
Sure.
So I'll grab my computer. I'll grab any books I have on the occult.
Sure.
Make my way out of the sewers on, let's say, the north end of the city.
Sure.
Going upstate. I want to find I'll probably, this will be the middle of the night, right?
Yeah.
So maybe find a library I can break into.
Sure. Alright, so you're moving through the city, passing by pigeons, rats, city animals, and at your very presence, the rats, back up and hiss and run off, and the pigeons sort of fly running into each other as they sort of panic and flee in your presence. You pass through empty streets and, abandoned lots as you make your way towards a small upper town library. You're greeted.
Well, I guess I should have said at the outset, my character is missing his whole right foot, and I have a cane. So I'm hobbling through the city here.
Yeah, so you're sort of hobbling along. Animals are fleeing at your presence. You arrive at the library. You see that almost all of the lights are turned off, except for a single light by the front desk, as there's a single night librarian sort of quietly filing books and filling out paperwork. You can see this. You can see them inside from the outside.
See, I think I'll attempt to Well, can I attempt to stealthily enter, maybe through a back door?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
So roll me a stealth. I think there's a specific set of things for...
Yeah, there's a physical. So, -1, unskilled.
Roll me a dexterity plus larceny, plus any equipment you might have, which I think is none. So dexterity plus larceny, -1, because it's so dexterity -1.
Okay.
As it is, I think it is untrained.
Well, actually, I do have a larceny.
Okay, then yeah, roll me dexterity plus larceny.
Alrighty.
We'll say 2 successes.
2 successes.
Perfect. So you there's an open window on the far end that leads you to sort of the basement stacks. There is a single college-age student who had been studying, most likely opened the window that you're able to sort of sneak past. They're passed out on a stack of books. You kind of quietly creep past them and find where do you go inside the library to sort of be alone?
I could probably find a computer somewhere that's in a corner. You know, it wouldn't necessarily be
ease,
hidden, but it'd be out of the way.
Yeah, with ease, yeah.
And I guess I want to try and figure out what could possibly be like a vampire that's not in control of his own body, or a vampire that's split into other consciousnesses, based on what that guy was saying.
Okay.
So that'd be like a academics and occult roll?
Yeah. Intelligence plus occult.
Intelligence plus occult. Okay.
With your bonus specialty for a vampire, which is an additional 1 dice.
That's 1, 2, 3 successes.
Cool. I'm going to say... I'm going to tell you the thing about it, and then you can ask me an additional 2 questions to sort of clarify.
Okay.
You're scanning, like, conspiracy rags, occult history books, that kind of thing. And you're finding that in the northern Egyptian area, there was a sect of... there's said to be a sect of vampire called the Anubi. They claim to gain their power from the Anubis, the god of death. Within that bloodline of vampires, there is said to be there is a subsect that have called themselves the Order of the Great Hunt. From your studies, they claim to hunt what they consider to be essentially the vampire version of the Antichrist, or almost a vampire version of Judas, like a great betrayer.
Sure.
Who was once a great ally to the vampires and then abandoned them. And you're finding there's a bunch of letters over the various letters from people said to be associated with the Anubi, some of whom are renouncing the Order of the Great Hunt, and they say that that there's no chance that the betrayer is still out there. There's no chance that he lives on, and that the hunt has to be merely philosophical, like a philosopher's stone. There are others that claim that the only way to succeed in the Great Hunt is to zealously continue to track down this immortal being that betrayed them ages ago.
Shit. So I guess my second question will be, and this might not be the same line of questioning, but like, how did they find me?
You're not able to find that just strictly in your research. You'd have to make a separate...
So, how large is this group?
The Order itself is fairly small, but they are a part of a larger bloodline that people or conspiracy theorists claim is sort of connected around the globe. It's small by vampire standards.
Okay.
They're a subset of the larger Gangrel bloodline or clan.
Okay.
But it's still, there's conspiracy theorists point to various people around the world and be like, their habits match those of the Anubi bloodline.
Got it. Okay, so my last question will be, what sort of magic or powers do they possess that specifically along that body possessing?
Sure. Gangrel vampires are particularly known for their transformative properties. Amongst vampires, they sort of are the most primal and animalistic. They tend to have a lot of powers about controlling animals, about changing their own body to take bestial form. And they're known for their great resilience. They're the more physical vampire clan. And then the Anubi are sort of just an offshoot of that. They're pretty similar as part of this larger clan.
So, my idea...
Sure.
...is to either kill someone and make them appear to be me, and put them back in my lair, or compel someone to impersonate me and be killed by them.
Okay.
But I think if I had been seen by one, it's probably some sort of like communal consciousness or something. I probably wouldn't be able to fool them that way. But I know that as long as I'm on the move, I'll be good. So I want to find a place to be during daytime. In fact, I think I'm going to leave the library and walk along the Hudson River. Staying out of sight in the tree line.
Sure.
And contemplate my strategy a little bit more.
Okay. Sure. So you come out of the library. You head towards the Hudson. What's your destination? Like, you're not, other than fish and the occasional frightened, like riverside tourist, even like during the day, you're not particularly noticed. So let me ask you, like, where you're headed and what you're looking for along the trip.
Let's see. I'm keeping an eye out for someone who might match my physical description, because
Okay,
I'm still
sure.
haven't entirely convinced myself that that's not an option. And basically, I just want to keep moving until dusk, when I'll take a break and regroup.
Sure. Okay, so you travel for most of the day, and you don't really see anyone. It's pretty quiet. It's a big river. You're not really attracting a lot of attention. Late in the day, you see a dock worker along the Hudson who does look not shockingly like you, but certainly enough that if somebody had never seen you in person, you could point to them and be like, yeah, they have my general features. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see them moving some boxes. You notice that he has a prosthetic foot.
Oh, wow.
That's really the main thing that I assume you've been looking for.
Right.
The biggest. Yeah, there's
That or chop it off.
And that's really the closest you find, is a guy that looks kind of like you from a distance. Otherwise you keep heading upriver. There's not really a whole lot. The animals are still repelled by your presence. Occasionally you look up and see a person look at you and kind of smile at the swimmer in the water, and then immediately their smile turns into a scowl, and they kind of back away and start, like, running.
Mm-hmm.
But as a Promethean and who's somebody who's been around for this long, that doesn't surprise you.
Yeah.
I imagine that the hurt of seeing that has sort of, you've found the ability to bury it down by this point.
Yeah. More than expected. More shocked when it doesn't happen.
Right. Nothing terribly eventful other than this one person, if you'd like to interact with them. Otherwise, you can keep on your trip.
I think I will. I want to try to... Let's see. Let's see. I think I want to try to use him in a non-lethal way. I want to use him to get information.
Sure.
So, I'll assume that due to my resources, I have a decent amount of cash with me.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to approach this man and ask him if he's ever been to New York City.
Well, I've been around, work is work. We go where we're needed.
Are you looking for work?
I've got pretty steady gig, moving boxes at the docks, It's a living.
How'd you like to make $500 for one day's work?
That's not a bad deal. It depends on what the job is. I won't kill anybody.
Oh,
not for 500 at least.
I need you to go to this address in Manhattan and wait there, and then call me at this number in 24 hours.
So it's like a house-sitting gig, then, you say?
One could think of it that way.
Well, that's a really cryptic response, but, you know what? That sounds like a pretty good way to go. I've learned not to look a $500 gift horse in the mouth.
Wise man.
So he takes the money, he heads back towards his car, and drives off. Assume you find a place to hide out and sort of wait to hear from him?
Yeah, I mean, is it too much to assume I have a phone?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It's, if not, you can find one and buy one without hanging around a store too much and triggering.
Yeah.
Disquiet, so.
So I'll say I do that.
Yeah.
And, really this just, I mean, maybe he gets approached, maybe he doesn't. If anything, it's just kind of a roadblock.
Sure. So you hang low. Most of the night, you don't hear anything. Around 2 a.m., you do get a call.
Okay. Hello?
Naughty boy, naughty boy. Did you think you could fool us with a fresh body? Not that we don't mind the snack.
Now, can I tell that if this is the same
This is not the same. Yeah, this is not the same voice.
Not the same voice. To whom do I have the honor of speaking?
My name is Amon Katal, agent of the Order of the Great Hunt, Iron Knife of the Anubi bloodline, General Saint of the Gangrel clan. One of the boys.
With titles like those, you'll have trouble.
We vampires, we like our pomp and circumstance.
I'm glad to know you're hot on the trail. Catch me if you can. Click. A second later, you get another call. It goes. Do you answer? Or does it go to voicemail?
It goes to voicemail.
You just get a voicemail like,
You know this is a cell phone. I can call you all night. I don't know why. You know what? We'll talk. We'll talk in person. It's fine. So, what's your next move? You kind of have an idea of who these guys are. You have an idea. You maybe don't know quite what they're after per se, or why they're after you, but you have an idea of who they are, what they do.
So, okay, here's what I want to do.
Sure.
I've got some government contacts.
Yep.
And I assume mostly that I've used them in the past to manipulate votes or what have you.
Sure.
In relation to accumulating wealth. But what I want to do is set a trap. So I'm going to find an abandoned warehouse-type place not far from where I am.
Easy to find in the docks area. There's a lot of, abandoned old buildings or warehouses that aren't currently in use, so, yeah.
And I'm going to feed the government contact information about terrorist activity.
Sure, okay.
And I'm going to say, they're going to meet at this place at, I'm going to say, 24 hours from now.
Okay.
And, and do that. So my plan is to set a bit of a trap. So I'm going to go to this warehouse and take a look around, see if there's anything in the environment that can be used to my advantage.
There are some barrels of kerosene that can be, rigged up to explode. There's a forklift that, if you knew how to drive, would be very useful. Otherwise, not really. It's a pretty barren warehouse. It's got one of those 2-level catwalks, the ones that go along the wall, so you can kind of peer down and have an eye on everything without necessarily being seen.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're pretty empty.
All right. Well, I guess to rig the kerosene tanks to explode, I just need to put them in a place where open flame could manipulate those. So maybe I'll let's see.
I feel like that's probably good enough. Is just to say you put them
just to rig it. That's
just
cool.
to rig them up.
And I will take a rejuvenating nap.
Okay.
In the water to gain back anything. I don't think I spent anything anyway.
So you place a call to your government contract or your government contact. Her name is Sharissa Cowley. She is a low-level analyst at the NSA. This has sort of in the past been how you kind of get information on people, is you have somebody in the intelligence community. So there's terrorist activity. Why would they target this? Where, like, do you know? Like, what else do you know? I mean, this is huge. If you can,
It's a clandestine meeting place. I think they're also running weapons through here.
okay, that's going to be huge. I appreciate the call. Anything else you can tell us about them or what they're planning?
Heavily armed, very dangerous.
Heavily armed, very dangerous. We'll go in hot. Great, appreciate it. You've done your country a great service, which, after all we've done for you, maybe doesn't even the books, but, you know, who am I to say? And she hangs up the phone. You take a nap. We cut to the next day. Are you calling Amon Katal to tell him to come over?
Let's see. How close am I to the deadline that I gave myself?
At this point, you're about 8-9 hours. Enough time to enact a plan before they arrive.
Yeah. I'd like to investigate this place so that there, maybe if it's near the docks,
Sure.
there's some sort of like, what am I thinking of? Like an indoor type dock, like water going in that I could kind of like escape through.
Like an indoor dock, like a place. Yeah. You can find one of those in like the next building over. Like next door, the next door warehouse, there is one of those. It's for bringing in like freight, like small freight boats.
I was thinking I'd want to be able to be in the middle of this building, and then when all the shit hits the fan, escape, or at least go into the water, where I have a chance to survive.
Well, within the building itself, the one that you've scheduled the meeting in, the probably the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you go out one of the windows along that upper level catwalk, and then just sort of make a jump towards the water from there.
All right. Well, I think that's a plan. You know what? To even further mess things up, I want to try and find a criminal element within the nearest town.
Okay. Roll me a streetwise plus.
I got like a black market. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to find the local gang.
Manipulation plus streetwise. Give me a manipulation plus streetwise.
You got
with
it.
a difficulty of at least 2 successes.
Okay.
And then each success from there will lower the amount of time it takes to find what you're looking for.
Okay, so 3 successes.
So 3 successes. We'll say it takes you a good portion of the time that you've got until the meeting. Now you have about 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe 2.5. But there's also no saying when the government's going to show up, considering that they think that there's heavily armed weapons dealers. Mm-hmm. So you do find a small narcotics import outfit. The person, you ask around, you ask the right questions, and they take you to meet sort of the head dealer. I'm going to ask you to give me a roll. Start of this interaction, give me a roll of your Azoth.
Okay. Just the Azoth D10?
Yeah.
All right. 1 success.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Perfect.
So I will use, what is this? It's the Firebringer.
Okay.
What
are your various disquiet, like soothe? What is the next ability up after soothe disquiet?
It's Alembic, and it's just like 2 natural. It's 2 ranks in just dampening.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
So this Firebringer I want to roll is the give myself an aura of respect.
Okay.
So that's my Azoth and Persuasion versus Intelligence.
They got 2 successes, so you have to get 2 successes for a partial success, 3 for a...
1 success.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll read the failure.
Yeah.
Would dramatic failure would be no successes, right?
Dramatic failure is if you only roll 1 dice and fail it, so you didn't get.
Oh, okay, all right. So I just fail. Whoops. So I want to persuade this guy that rival gangs moving in on his turf. I'm the reason they should listen to me is I'm the old head of this crime family.
Sure.
And they pushed me out, and this is the way I'm going to hurt them. And they've set up camp in that warehouse.
Okay. Give me a roll of manipulation plus subterfuge plus your black market specialization.
Manipulation.
Or streetwise. Plus streetwise, manipulation, black market.
4. Three successes.
Okay. The person that you're talking to, this very, very heavy-set old man in a lovely suit, he's watching you. He is very sort of unfazed by your tale of crime. But several of the other guys around him, like the armed guys around him, are sort of whispering amongst themselves and kind of like wondering if they should listen to you. But the guy himself sort of takes this big wheezing breath and looks at you like, "What gang? Give me a name."
And let's see. I will gonna do a magic thing.
Okay.
Which magic thing am I gonna do? I'm wondering if I could do the In Vino Veritas and force him to tell me the name of like somebody he would fear.
Okay, I can see that.
So let's see. I want to say like I'll say the only gang who could have done this without you knowing.
Okay.
And I think you know who it is.
Sure, that makes sense. Give me whatever roll. What does the roll call for?
Versus composure plus Azoth.
Okay, so that's 3. So he got 2 successes. So you're rolling.
I'm rolling a lot. Hopefully I do it.
You got 2 successes, so you need 2 successes for a partial, 3 for a success.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Perfect. He leans in real close. So, the Yakuza? You telling me the Yakuza are coming? Son of a bitch. God. You think you got a good thing going, and then the fucking Yakuza. All right. Boys, gather around. This good Samaritan here may, in fact, be all that stands between us and the Yakuza taking over the docks. I hate to admit it, but he might be all that stands in the way. So let me ask you, fella, what do you need from us?
I need you to set a trap for him.
Okay, we can do that.
I know they're coming, and I know they want to come for me because I've been, because I'm dangerous. I mean, look what I've done already. I've come to you, so I'll be the bait in this trap, and you be ready. You be ready to roll in, guns blazing. But be wary.
Sure.
You never know what the Yakuza can do.
Okay. Well, we can do that. So, as a group, you all go back into the original warehouse.
Uh-huh.
They position several of their guys behind some boxes along the catwalk, pointed down sort of at the main area, where, like, you've set up a little chair. Or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to be the bait.
Absolutely.
The sun goes down, like, we're in twilight. The doors of the warehouse open, and surrounded by about half a dozen people in that same sort of tactical gear that you saw earlier, or the other day, is a woman in a fine, like, rich navy blue suit. A heavy-set Egyptian woman with black hair and brown eyes. She walks in, she sort of grabs a chair and sits in front of you and just sort of leans in. We appreciate you taking the time to see us. In the name of full disclosure, the government won't be coming. You're not the only one with contacts, dear.
Shit. I don't say this out loud, of course. I keep my cool.
Sure. Perhaps I've been rude in not introducing myself. My name is Nanette Coleman. I am a high priestess of the Anubi bloodline. I think that perhaps, what with the men hunting you and all, we have gotten off on the wrong foot.
Perhaps we have. Am I still paying for the mistakes I made eons ago?
Oh, yes. Well, at least you remember now. We appreciate that.
Oh, no, I do remember the mistake I made of not killing all of you.
Oh, I can appreciate that a great deal. You're a man after my own heart. You and I are not so different, it seems, after all. Tell me, all those years of hiding and squirreling away money like a I guess like a squirrel. I'm not sure where I was going with that one, but yeah, like a squirrel. Was it worth it knowing that you were going to be garroted and skewered by a group of angry vampires? In the back of your mind, did you always know that it was going to come to this?
To be honest, I hadn't given you all a second thought.
You know, that's fair. I appreciate your honesty. I'm going to be honest with you and say I was among those that had written off your existence all those many years ago. I was among those that had written you off. The Order of the Great Hunt was a useful tool in accruing political power, but I found them to be overzealous madmen hunting a straw man.
And now your political power will end with my death. Convenient.
Well, the political powers will go on unabated, but now I merely have an army of hitmen at my command. It's rather a nice benefit to your death.
You know, at least as a Promethean, I have the ability to forget. What a curse it must be to not let anything go.
Oh, you know, that was a pretty good burn. I don't have a reply to that one. I gotta give you that.
And at that point, I want to, give a signal.
Sure.
Yeah.
So they stand up, the guys stand up, they start opening fire. They open fire at the barrels explode, several of the men go flying. There's a shootout, and amidst all of the chaos, you're still, Nanette is still just sitting and looking at you perfectly still, completely unfazed by the carnage going on around her. So what are you doing at this time?
I will, try to use atavistic instincts.
Okay.
To, let's see, I can make them flee or attack a victim of my choice.
Okay.
Excellent. So that's manipulation wits versus composure and Azoth.
Okay.
Manipulation wits and subterfuge.
She got one success.
One success.
Okay. So, you see her stand up. Well, what do you command her to do first?
I tell her to attack a surviving vampire that's on the ground floor.
In a flash, so quick you're not even sure your eyes register it at first. It's something that you kind of only recognize in retrospect. You see her stand up, grab a man in a tactical suit, grab his throat, rip it out, toss it aside, and sit back down in front of you.
Oh my god. No.
And she just goes, well, that was fun. Now, I must admit, this trap that you've laid is clever. Certainly I didn't expect a Promethean to ally with people. That was an unexpected twist. You know, what we know of your people suggests that you're not exactly sociable sorts. So I can, respect where respect is due. Game recognize game, as the kids say. Perhaps we may call this a wash. But I want you to know something. For the next time that we meet, and we will meet again, if not in my generation, if not in my cult, then some future generation, I want you to know, you must understand something. As I said, I doubted your existence my entire life. I've been alive since the 1600s, and I assumed that surely you had either embarked on your pathetic excuse for a great work, or a mob of pitchfork-wielding peasants had burned you alive. But it seems that it is not only vampires and mortals that have set their eye on you, Morris. Are you aware of angels? The existence of angels?
I've read about them.
That was my reaction too, until I had the dream. A being of light came to me, with nothing but a set of GPS coordinates. It was divine fire incarnate into Morris. Your enemies range beyond those of a vampire. It seems heaven itself has set its eye upon you to punish you for the crime of existing as a Promethean for as long as you have.
And so this is actually the first time I actually lose my composure. I am visibly shaken.
Well, that was effective. Guess what they say about the truth is true. She turns around and sees, like, her men are making gains, but some of them are badly burned. One of them is just getting riddled with bullets, and he's still standing between the bulletproof armor and, the vampire.
Yeah.
She looks around. She merely says, "Kill everyone in this room. I've got a dinner to attend to." She wipes some blood off of her nice dress jacket, turns and walks out. It's now up to you to either make an escape, try to help some people, or insert third option.
Good lord. Let's see. I don't think I can use my manipulation powers to make her not hostile.
I mean, you can attempt it if that's what you want to do, but it's a gambit.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is try to get out of there.
Okay.
Leave everyone to die, or where the chips fall where they may.
Okay. You make your way up the catwalk. Two of the guys turn to you with their machine guns. "These aren't Yakuza, I don't think!" And then just get riddled with vampire bullets. One of them gets riddled with bullets, the other, a vampire lands in front of them and just punches straight through them. Like a scene in a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
You make your way out of the window. You climb down the wall. Waiting for you at the bottom with a 9mm pistol is the fat man from earlier.
Okay. So, let's see. There's the Iago's Whisper. Okay. I will not do that. I'll just do the suggestion. Can I use the suggestion to make him kill himself?
You can, but I'm going to I'm going to add some difficulty to it. So you have to get at least 6 successes.
Oh boy.
4 successes to make him hurt himself, 6 successes to make him kill himself.
Okay.
And he just looks at you. "I should have known. Stopping the Yakuza would have made my career. I would have been a godfather. I should have known it was too good to be true."
I think I'll just use Flight Instinct against this guy.
Okay.
Right? No, I guess it's still atavistic instincts for humans.
Okay.
So I'll do that again. Yeah, I just want him to flee in terror.
Okay.
2 successes.
Okay. And what is that? What am I rolling for that?
It's, let me check. Composure plus my Azov.
Okay. No, he doesn't, sir. He doesn't succeed. You succeed.
Hooray. So, I'm out of there.
Yep. You dive into the water. You're left alone to confront the... What's the word I'm looking for? Not detritus. To confront the cold fact that a lifetime of manipulation and abuse has not only come back to you in an angry vampire army, but in... Make me an intelligence plus occult roll.
Intelligence plus occult. Yeah, I want to know what the angels are. 2 plus 3 is 5.
All right. So,
oh, sorry, I was just getting my dice. That wasn't my successes.
Got it.
2 successes.
Yeah. What little you know of them indicates that we're talking about Kashmalim, an angel of creation powered by divine fire, given a mission that is a singular obsession. These missions are questionable at best. They don't understand reality beyond the context of their mission.
And it wants me dead.
And it wants you dead.
So there's a part of me that feels like, well, maybe I should just throw in the towel then. What good has this existence been anyway? But then I decide, fuck that. I'm gonna go out fighting. I'm gonna confront this thing head on. If it wants me dead, I'm gonna do my damnedest to return the favor.
At that moment, as you sort of float in the waters of the Hudson River, the moment you sort of think, nah, fuck that,
despite it being the dead of night now, because some time has passed since the firefight started, a blinding flash of light appears in front of you, and seemingly a being of fire, like a human torch, appears before you, standing before you, and just points a finger at you, and says, "You have faced the ghosts of your wicked past. You have chosen the path to continue fighting. You have accepted the harm that you have done to others. This was my mission. What say you? What will you do now?"
This was your entire mission, to get me to come to a state of thinking?
The mission was to help you re-find that spark, that, and he leans in, fire within you. And he looks real stone-faced at you for, like, a good moment. You have strayed from your great work, Morris.
Oh, what great work was that?
The great work of all Prometheans to learn the ways of humanity on the route to becoming a human.
I've learned enough.
Have you? For your curse, your Promethean curse still burns within you, does it not? Tell me, when is the last time an animal looked at you with anything other than terror?
I hate animals.
I take it the answer then is a long time. For let me ask you this. Even a puppy?
Oh, come on.
Like a really cute puppy?
Stop it.
And he's kicking his little feet. You're holding him, he's kicking his little feet. When was the last time an adorable puppy looked at you with anything other
That's
than...
human love. It's for humans. What do I want with humanity? I know their ugliness.
Uglier than a man hiding in a sewer for 800 years? Or 800, like 80 years.
I'm only a reflection of them. I don't need the weakness that comes with it.
I had hoped that perhaps you would accept that through the harm that you've brought, you are no stronger than a human, but perhaps my mission remains.
Let's duke it out.
I have no desire for violence with you, Morris. I hope to aid you, such that one day you may embrace your great work and I may embrace the holy fire from which I was born.
So you're telling me you're stuck with me?
More or less, yes. In a manner of speaking.
Then I have a lot to teach you.
Wonderful. So I'm assuming you sort of swim down the Hudson. This fiery floating being sort of floats behind you. I think that's where we call it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Like that's a good ending point, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I feel like you've embarked
that
on
was
the
so
next
much
chapter.
fun.
That was super fun. I feel like you're embarking on the next chapter of your great journey, being haunted by this weird fire angel.
I feel like if Morris can make that angel just really, really hate everything, that'll be a mission accomplished.
That's a good mission to have. That truly might be your great work.
That might be a great work. Jeff, thanks so much.
Oh my God, that was super fun. Thank you so much for coming on to the show.
A great time.
I had a really great time. Anything that you want to plug social media-wise?
Oh, yeah, I do. I perform on a storytelling... Well, not storytelling, that's the wrong word. It's an old-timey radio theater podcast.
Really? I did not know that was a thing.
Absolutely. It's called Fireside Mystery Theater, RE.com. You can listen to past episodes. I wouldn't say I'm a member, but I'm a regular
that's
performer.
Super cool. I didn't know that was...
original spooky stories with a lot of camp, performed live monthly and then recorded for the podcast. So check it out.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds super cool. I will check that out. And I hope that my listeners do as well. Yeah, okay. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's been a blast having you. I hope that we'll see Morris again. And in the meantime, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with everything. All right, take it, future me.
He said you only live once. Well, I beg to differ, because you can live forever through the feelings you deliver.
Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Bill for coming onto the show. That was so good. I cannot wait to have him on again. Be sure to check out Fireside Mystery Theater at www.firesidemysterytheater.com. And you can follow Bill on Twitter at Cirdie, that's CIRDIE. Meanwhile, you can follow the show on Twitter at Party of One Pod, and you can like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you like the show, consider leaving us an iTunes review. 5-star reviews are super helpful in getting new people to find the show. Party of One is produced by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank and edited by Jeff Stormer. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Random, aka Megaran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. Until next time, thanks for listening, I'm proud of you, and thank God I have you.
Never gonna die.